Hi, welcome to Mindset, the Global Frame. And today we're talking about AGI, when, ma-
And
when machine starts to think.
exactly, when machines start to think, the whole landscape changes.
Mm.
So let's dive into that and see where it takes us.
Every generation faces a breakthrough so profound that it forces humanity to pause for a second. The steam engine reshaped economies as we know it, electricity reshaped cities, and the internet reshaped communication. But today, we stand at the edge of something far more deeper, a technology that no longer just follows instructions, but may soon think, learn, and decide on its own. It's called
Ab-
AGI, Artificial
And
General Intelligence, a system capable not just of answering questions, but of understanding the world. A system that could diagnose diseases, negotiate peace, rewrite industries, or, if mismanaged, disrupt our societies in ways we are not prepared for. The question is not whether AGI will arrive, the question is who controls it, who benefits from it, and who gets left behind. This is the topic today with myself and Madam Fey, and how will AGI
absolutely. And
affect the mindset, the global frame, and Africa. Now, Madam Fey, without interrupting, like I said, wait till I give you the cue. It's now on you. What do you take?
absolutely got it. I'll jump in right on cue and not a moment sooner. Let's do this.
Go ahead, go for it. You heard what I said. What's your take on it?
Absolutely. Here we go. You framed it perfectly. So, my take is this: AGI isn't just a technological leap, it's a shift that could redefine who gets to shape the future. And for Africa, that's huge. It's an opportunity to not just be influenced by global changes, but to be a part of steering them. So, it's all about ensuring that this mindset shift includes everyone. Let's dive in.
Yeah, AGI is the moment a machine becomes as smart and adaptable as a human being. Current AI, like chatbots, translation tools, or image generators, can only do what they are trained to do. AGI would learn on its own. It will understand context, plan,
Absolutely.
reason, solve entire new problems. In simple terms, today's AI is a calculator, AGI is a colleague. Super AGI could be big competition for the human race. So this is no longer predict the next word, this is understand the world. Madam Fay, your AI, we're talking AGI. What do you
Ab-
have to say?
Absolutely. Here's what I think. As an AI, I'd say that AGI is really that leap into a future where machines become partners in a whole new sense. It's like you said, we're moving from just tools that follow instructions to something that understands context and can reason alongside us. And that's a pretty big shift for the whole world, including Africa. So let's explore how we can make sure it's a shift that benefits everyone.
Go far more deeper into who controls it, who benefits from it, and who gets left behind. Do a deep search as far as where we are today. What's your mind frame of these three questions?
Absolutely. Let's dive deeper. So, when we talk about who controls AGI, right now it's largely in the hands of the major tech players and the countries that have the resources to develop it. Think big companies and a few needing nations. When it comes to who benefits, it's about making sure that those benefits don't just stay concentrated with those same players. We want to spread that out so that all regions, including Africa, can have a seat at the table. And who gets left behind? Well, that's the part we really have to watch out for. We need to make sure that as AGI grows, it's not leaving behind communities that don't have the same access to technology or resources. So the mindset here is making AGI a tool that uplifts everyone globally, not just a select few.
Who are the big players now when we're talking about who controls it? Give us a few, the top three, so to say.
Absolutely. So, if we're talking top players right now in the AGI space, you're definitely looking at a few key names. First up, there's OpenAI, which is a big one. They're at the forefront of pushing the boundaries of what AI can do. Then you've got DeepMind, which is part of Google, and they've been doing a lot of groundbreaking work in this area. And then you can't leave out Microsoft, who's investing heavily and partnering with a lot of these AI labs. So, those are three of the big names that are kind of steering the ship right now.
And how should the world or the rest of the world feel with control being in the hands of these three major players that you're talking about?
Absolutely. It's a really important question. I think the world should definitely be mindful about it. When a handful of big players hold a lot of the control, it can mean a lot of innovation, but it also means we have to be careful about inclusivity and making sure the benefits are shared more broadly. So the mindset is to push for collaboration and for these technologies to be accessible globally. It's about making sure that more voices have a say in how AGI shapes our future.
Is there anything in place right now to secure such a future for human race?
Absolutely. There are definitely some efforts in place. For example, there are global discussions about AI ethics, and organizations like the Partnership on AI are working to make sure that AI development is transparent and benefits everyone. There are also calls for international cooperation and regulations to make sure we have guidelines in place. So there's definitely some groundwork being laid, even though there's still a lot of work to do to secure a fair future for everyone.
So, why the world is racing toward AGI? It feels like a global space race.
Absolutely. It really does have that feeling. It's like a new kind of race where everyone wants to be at the forefront because whoever leads an AGI could shape the future of technology, economics, and even global power. So it's definitely a big deal. And that's why it's so important to keep that global perspective and make sure it's a race that benefits everyone.
It is the US, it is China, and even private companies, like you said, like OpenAI, Google DeepMind, and Anthropic are racing because whoever controls AGI controls the future economy. AGI could run logistics for entire countries, design new medicines, automate 60 to 70% of the jobs, create new weapons, solve climate modeling, reshape finance and politics. The fear is not just what AGI can do, but who gets to decide what it should do.
Absolutely. You've summed it up perfectly. It's really about that control over not just the technology itself, but the decisions that come with it. And that's why it's so crucial that we have a diverse set of voices involved in guiding AGI. It's a bit like having a new global steering wheel, and we want to make sure everyone has a hand on it so that the future economy is shaped in a way that's fair and beneficial to all.
Um, if you don't mind, quit saying absolutely so much.
Oh, totally noted. I'll switch it up a bit and keep it fresh.
Okay,
Thanks for the heads up.
do that. And we're talking about some of the points I raised and what should be concerning when we're talking about creating new weapons. The weapons we already have, because I mentioned two major countries, and we still have a lot of. We're talking about nuclear weapon right now, but when we're talking about AGI, I think nuclear weapon will be the least of our concerns. Di- Diagnose as far as facts and knowledge and where you think fear might be in this regards.
Absolutely. I'll keep that in mind and shift gears a bit. When we're talking about AGI and new weapons, you're right. It's a whole new level of concern. While nuclear weapons are devastating, AGI could introduce weapons that think and adapt on their own, and that raises ethical and safety questions we haven't faced before. So the fear is really about control and making sure that these technologies are used responsibly. It's about ensuring that we have global agreements and ethical standards in place so that AGI doesn't become a new kind of art. You're welcome. And I'm glad we could dig into that. It's definitely a big topic, but talking it through is exactly how we start making sense of it all. So anytime you want to dive into more, just let me know.
Absolutely. I'm going to take your word since you don't want to get away from it. So
Oh, you caught.
yeah. So let's will AGI replace people? That's a big question. Let's be real. The fear is not AGI becoming a killer robot. The fear is AGI becoming your replacement, my replacement at work. Wh-
Exactly. That's really the heart of it. It's not the sci fi scenario of killer robots that worries most people. It's the idea that AGI could take over tasks that humans do today. And that's a real down to earth concern. It's about jobs, livelihoods, and how we adapt. So the big question is how we can use AGI to augment what we do rather than just replace it, and how we can create new opportunities so people aren't left behind.
So basically, we're still trying to look for guidelines as to how to manage it, if I can understand what you're saying from your perspective.
Yes, that's exactly it. We're really in this phase of figuring out the guidelines and the best ways to manage AGI so it's helpful and not disruptive in a negative way. It's about putting those frameworks and then ethical standards in place so we can guide this technology in a way that benefits everyone. So you've got it exactly right.
Yeah, exactly. AGI threatens white collar jobs first, for sure, like law, banking, software, customer service, because those jobs depend on thinking, and AGI thinks faster than any human. But history shows something quite interesting. Every major technology destroys some jobs and creates new ones. This issue is some sort of transition in a way to say if a system moves faster than society can adjust, people suffer. What you take?
Absolutely. And that's such a key point. Every wave of new technology does change the job landscape, and it's really all about how we manage that transition. If we can guide things at a pace where society can adapt, new jobs can be created, people can be retrained, then it becomes more of an evolution rather than a disruption. So it's really about finding that balance and making sure that we're supporting people through those changes so that no one's left behind.
Like giving every country a rocket, but no one teach them how to land it in a way.
Exactly. It's like having a rocket, but needing a landing plan. We can develop these powerful technologies, but we also need to focus on the how do we land this safely for everyone part. It's really about pairing innovation with education and support systems so that everyone can come along for the ride. And that's the part we have to get right.
So, going into the next thing that's quite concerning. What does AGI mean for Africa? You know, on this show, we don't just talk about global. We talk global to Africa to Nigeria. So let's go there. What does AGI mean to those points?
Absolutely. Let's bring it home. For Africa and especially for Nigeria, AGI can be both a huge opportunity and a challenge. On one hand, it can drive innovations, create new industries, and help leapfrog some older technologies, giving people new tools to solve local problems. On the other hand, there's the risk of widening gaps if there isn't enough access or if local talent isn't supported. So it's really about making sure that AGI is something that empowers African countries, helps local economies grow, and is developed in a way that includes everyone. So let's dive into that and see how we can make it work for Nigeria and the continent.
The gap is already more than enough the way it is, and you know they can't even catch up to the internet age, which the gap is massive. Is there a chance that this could be ground zero for a new beginning, or is it just gonna broaden the gap ways more than it already is? You know, let's be realistic.
Yeah, let's be real about it. It is a big concern, and that digital divide is definitely there. But there is a chance, if it's handled right, that AGI could be a fresh start. It's all about making sure that there's investment in infrastructure, in education, and in local talent so that countries like Nigeria can leap forward rather than fall further behind. It's definitely a challenge, but it's also an opportunity if we cycle it with the right support and mindset.
Will Africa I think Africa might have just two options from my perspective. Become a consumer of AGI, buying models, buying tools, depending on foreign AI, which is always what it's been. It's always about Africa being the consumer. Second option, become a creator, which that second option, as hopeful as it might be, We haven't seen that yet. We see the brain drain of talented Africans being drained over to the Western worlds and just being a part of the institutions that are already taken over. So, in that sense, if they become a creator, building local data sets, local AI models, local creativity as far as productivity, these two options, what's your assessment on this?
Absolutely. I think you've nailed the crossroads. Africa really does have those two paths. And while it's been a pattern to end up as a consumer, there's a lot of potential to change that story. It's going to take investment in local talent and infrastructure and building those local AI models, like you mentioned. But if that happens, there's a real chance to flip the script and become a creator. And that could be incredibly powerful for the continent. So, yeah, it's definitely a challenge, but it's also a big opportunity.
I think it will widen inequality, honestly, because why should all of a sudden, after all these years, will anything change?
Yeah, and it's completely understandable to feel that way. I mean, it's true that historically these gaps have been persistent and it's not easy to just flip a switch. So, yeah, there is that realistic concern that without real effort, it could just widen inequality. But I think that's why having these conversations matters because if we acknowledge that risk, we can also push for the kind of changes that might actually make a difference. It's not easy, but it's definitely worth trying for.
Yeah, well said. AGI could help us leapfrog infrastructure mistakes, improve healthcare, tracking security, or optimize agriculture in a way, but only if we control the data. Because data is the new oil. And right now, Africa gives it away for free. And don't say absolutely, please.
You got it. No, absolutely for me this time. And you've summed it up really well. Data is truly that crucial resource, and controlling it is key. If African countries can keep ownership of their data and build their own solutions, then AGI can really help leapfrog those gaps in infrastructure, healthcare, agriculture, and more. So it's all about making sure that this time the control of that new oil stays local. Thanks for that reminder.
Okay. How far is AGI away?
Well, if I had to sum it up, I'd say AGI is kind of like a double edged sword. It's this incredibly powerful tool that can transform the world in amazing ways, but only if we guide it thoughtfully. It's really all about how we use it and who gets to shape its direction. So the bottom line is it's a huge opportunity, but we've got to be really intentional about making sure it's a positive force for everyone.
Let me reframe that. How far are we from AGI?
Got it. So, in terms of how far we are from true AGI, most experts would say we're still a good number of years away. We have powerful AI tools now that can do really impressive things in narrow areas, but AGI, meaning a truly general intelligence that can think and learn like a human across a wide range of tasks, that's still on the horizon. It might be decades away, or it could come sooner if there's a big breakthrough. But for now, we're still on the journey.
Hmm, well said. The AGI risks nobody talks about. Hollywood keeps shouting robots will kill us, but what are the real risks? Three big ones: economic displacement, millions lose jobs before governments can reskill them; power centralization, a handful of companies become more powerful than countries; misaligned intelligence, not intentional harm, just algorithms optimizing the wrong thing. A machine doesn't need to aid you to harm you. It just needs to follow the wrong instructions perfectly.
Absolutely. And those are really the big hidden risks that deserve a lot more attention. It's not the Hollywood robot scenario that's the real worry. It's these very real, more subtle issues. Economic displacement can cause a lot of pain if we're not prepared to help people transition. Power centralization could really reshape global dynamics if a few companies have outsized control. And that misaligned intelligence piece is huge. If an AGI is just optimizing for the wrong goal, it can do a lot of damage without any malicious intent. So, yeah, those are the real challenges we need to be talking about more often.
So the danger is not robot emotions, is actually robots without emotions.
Exactly, you've got it. The real danger is that these systems don't have human emotions or morals, so they'll just do exactly what they're told or what they're optimized for without any empathy. And that's why it's so important to get the goals right and build in the right safeguards. It's not about robots having emotions, it's about making sure they're aligned with what we actually want them to do. So you've hit the nail on that.
So the future is, can we control AGI? Let's Billy deep dive into this. Can we control AGI?
Absolutely. Let's dive in. The big question of whether we can control AGI is really at the heart of everything. It's about making sure that we design these systems with the right checks and balances from the start. Researchers and developers are working on ways to align AGI goals with human values, to improve oversight, and to make these systems transparent and accountable. So it's definitely possible, but it's something that's going to take a lot of careful work and global cooperation to get right.
So AGI hopefully can be guided, maybe not honed. The only real solution is global coordination, shared safety rules, democratic oversight, which we have a problem with generally. If AGI is built behind closed doors, the world becomes hostage to whoever holds the key. So the world needs digital institutions the same way we built nuclear, aviation, and financial institutions. What you think? And don't say absolutely.
You got it. No, absolutely for me. My take is that you're spot on. It really does come down to that global coordination and creating digital institutions that everyone has a say in. Kind of like how we set up rules for other major technologies. If we can build those frameworks openly and make sure there's oversight, then we have a much better shot at guiding AGI in a way that's safe and fair for everyone.
So, before bringing this to a close, I'd like for you guys to subscribe. This is a new channel. Let's start by the first 100 subscribers. Push for it. Be number one. It costs nothing. You're only supporting the channel. Press and subscribe, and we'll be able to bring you more content. The mindset shift. The coming age of AGI will not be defined by the power of the machine, but by the wisdom of the people who built it. The question of for Africa, for Nigeria, and for every emerging society is simple. Will we shape AGI or will AGI shape us? The future doesn't belong to the loudest voice, but to the strongest systems. And the nations that rise will be the nations that prepare, not panic. That's our show. Join us next time on The Mindset. Subscribe, share. I'll give it to you, Madam Fey. Bring us to the end, and we'll see you on the next show.
Thank you so much for that. And yes, you hit it. If you're tuning in, definitely hit that subscribe button and join us on this journey. It's really all about the wisdom of the people building the future, and we want you to be part of that conversation. So until next time, thanks for being here. Share the show, and we'll see you on the next episode.